ties are muddy, each scar tells a story. My future is laid out like my father before me. Dubbing the dirt, I fly away in the morning.
Hello. Good morning, USA. What up, everybody? How is everyone doing today? It is a beautiful rainy day in Tennessee. Beautiful. It's not super rainy, but it has been scattered showering. Throughout the day, has been scattered showering. Oh, man. Hair's a mess, bro. Look at that. That's terrible. Anyway. Oh, man. Just woke up a minute ago. Working them thirds, baby. Let's talk about the environment. Let's talk about federal restrictions, state restrictions on logging. I'm going to put this on the logging channel. I'm starting a logging channel, by the way, called Men of Stihl. And it's spelled Stihl, Men of Stihl. Like the chainsaw brand. And it is going to document a lot of stuff from the past, a lot of stuff from the future. Ultimately, I'm going to make it about forestry and timber harvesting and logging and such. So, let's talk about forestry. Let's talk about timber harvesting. Let's talk about the restrictions that states put on loggers, lumberjacks, if you will. So, my father today, this morning, he had to go to a town about 45 minutes away, at least, and he had to go to what they call logging school. Logging school. Now, my father has been doing this. He is 62? 63? It's terrible. 62, I think. 62. He's been doing this since he was 14 years old or younger. So, how many years is that? Almost 50 years. He's been logging in the woods day after day after day. Through dangerous environments, through any kind of weather, any kind of things you can imagine. 50 years of experience, right? Half of a century. And the state, now Tennessee used to require it, but they don't anymore. The state of Kentucky requires, and it's probably because of the governor who's in office there. The state of Kentucky requires anyone who is going to be able to log, cut down trees, even on their own property, and sell them for a profit, especially commercial loggers, even though they've been doing it for 50 years, they have to go to what's called logging school. And I'm just going to be honest, and hey, if you don't agree with me, I understand. I love the environment as well. I think God's creation is amazing. However, I also believe that God put certain things here that need to be harvested at a certain time for us to use as humans. Special resources, right? Because if you don't harvest animals, if you don't harvest natural resources, they're just going to go to waste, and there's going to be at some point timber, trees, they're going to die, and they can actually cause worse damage than if you cut them down and take them out and use them as resources. You know, they make toilet paper, they make paper that you write on, they make Obviously, 2x4s, wood, any kind of wood product. Your house is made of wood. You use toilet paper to wipe your hind end. This shed's made of wood right here. So there is unimaginable amounts of uses for wood. And there is a healthy way to harvest trees and keep the environment safe. Okay. And healthy ecosystems and such and whatnot. My dad's been doing this for 50 years. They don't clear cut. They don't cut everything down. They know what size tree to harvest, so they're not harvesting tiny trees, saplings, obviously. They know exactly anything you could probably imagine about any tree. There was an ash tree. The ash trees have had a blight in the past few years, and they're starting to die out, and they're getting scarce. They know all kinds. He's told me all this stuff. They know all kinds of stuff, right? They've been doing this for 50 years. What irritates me is that this started in the 90s. I think mid 90s, maybe almost mid to late 90s. They started making loggers who knew more about the woods go to logging school to learn how to do things, cut trees down the proper way, how to supposedly you need to fence off a stream because you might hurt some of the animals if you log near them. Weird things like that that really are just silly ways for the government to try to control what people do with their own property, sometimes even in the environment. So yes, we do need to protect the environment. Yes, absolutely. However, my dad went to logging school. I think he has to go for a week. I could be wrong about that, but it used to be longer. It used to be weeks and weeks. He has to miss work. He has to miss making money. He has to miss pay. There's an acorn right there. He has to miss pay. He will not get paid for the money, or he will not get paid for his time that he is at the logging school. He has to eat that time and that money. Okay? So, but the government doesn't care about that. The environmentalists, let me back up. The extreme environmentalists do not care about what he has, what he has to eat, the time and the money that they wasted. So long story short, I feel like, and I'll welcome comments, comment below. If you disagree, you disagree. I feel like, especially in the leftist political agenda, there's a lot of policies that do more harm than good to the American blue-collared logger working force. Logging, tree harvesting accounts for more than 2 or 3 million jobs in America, right? So it's a big part of the force. Big part of the workforce, and we don't understand, we depend on these people very much so, especially right now. I live in the Nashville area, and especially right now, construction has been going crazy lately. They depend on all kinds of materials that come from tree harvesting. It's almost like farming in a way. I feel like a lot of times America, the federal government does help out farmers from time to time. But I feel like in a lot of ways they've turned their back. And the American people, they've turned their back on farmers. So, anyhow, let me know below what you think. Comment. I'm going to post this on both channels. I just feel like the government likes to make rules and laws sometimes just to make them. And train people who literally know more than they know about the environment they've worked in for 50 years. I think some of the environmental stuff is good, and I think some of it is a huge waste of time and money, and a way for them to make more money. Essentially, they have to pay to get their license and such to be a logger, something they've already done for 50 years. Let me know what you think.